Now, when you hear Joey Merlino's name alongside the Junior Black Mafia or just blowing money, whatever you want to call it, JBM, a lot of stories start floating around. Some people say JBM was doing hits for Joey. Others claim the Italians were extorting black drug dealers in Philly. The truth? Well, it's far simpler and it's far more interesting. The only real ties between Joey Merlino and the JBM was Tracy Mason. Tracy Mason, a South Philly native, had access to the keys. And through him, Joey was able to handle business. Beyond that connection, there was no deeper relationship when it come to crime. The JBM had an amazing California connect, but Joey never had a relationship with the organization itself. Now, one thing I've heard repeatedly is that the JBM was doing hits for Joey Merlino. Now, that's completely false. The only business between Joey and Tracy Mason was money and product. Joey never knew the inner workings of the JBM, and Tracy never knew the mob politics. Now, just think about it. A crime boss doesn't need to pay for hits if he have a bunch of men under him who can handle it at a push of a button. Now, there are stories about Italians using other organizations to do hits, of course, to avoid heat tracing back to them. But Joey never operated that way. Now, whether he ever used the pagans for anything is a different story. But the JBM doing the hits? Man, that never happened. Now, Aaron Jones, he was the leader of JBM. He had no relationship with Joey at all. At the most, they might have had a conversation or two, but nothing more significant. See, at the time, Aaron Jones had some of the best product on the streets of Philly. He was trying to flood the streets of Philly when he partnered up with James Cole, and then he took over because James Cole fell back. See, James Cole was more low-key. Aaron was just doing too much. He was trying to take over the whole city of Philly, section by section, trying to drop off his supply in every part. Philly wasn't like New York. In Philly, the Italians ran the Italians, and the blacks ran the blacks. The bikers ran the bikers. Let me say this again. In Philly, unlike New York, the Italians ran the Italians, the blacks ran the blacks, and the bikers ran the bikers. Each organization respect each other's lanes. I've also read claims that the Italians extorted black drug dealers. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Black crews weren't handing over money to anyone. And if someone did, it certainly wouldn't be the Italians. The streets of Philly had a different dynamic, with respect and boundaries dictating business. Now, Tracy Mason, he had a strong relationship with the Italians even before he became deeply involved in criminal activity. See, the brotherly love in Philly is just way different, and other cities wouldn't understand. The Italians would drive through his neighborhood with nice cars, talking about the money in Atlantic City and the lifestyle that came with it. This exposure led to parties and connections with influential figures like Phil Narducci and Nicky Scarfo. So by the time Joey Merlino entered the picture, Tracy already had a network and credibility. See, Tracy Mason was a businessman, strategic, smart, and focused on making money. Joey, he was ambitious, looking for ways to earn and expand. Their partnership wasn't about violence or control. It was about business, opportunity, and trust. And don't forget, these dudes was in their late 20s at the time. See, business aside, there was another layer to their connection, and that was lifestyle. Both Joey Merlino and Tracy Mason loved the finer things in life. They enjoyed fine dining, high fashion, and luxury shopping. Along with Chucky Merlino, they would spend tens of thousands of dollars in the same stores and walk the same avenues. See, even Chucky Merlino, which was Joey Merlino's father, noticed their relationship. He was already in jail doing time when Tracy Mason went away for drugs, but he understood the bond between Joey and Tracy. When Tracy Mason went away on that heavy indictment, man, Chucky began to question the relationship, wondering if his son was involved in the drug trade. And then you had JC from West Philly. JC was another JBM member with a relationship to Joey Merlino. Like many African Americans at the time, JC and others were fascinated by mafia culture. Movies like The Godfather and Goodfellas inspired admiration and curiosity about mob life. JC respected Joey because of his friendship with Tracy. He even came to Joey's defense in prison. Over time, their bond grew strong. Now, before JC's death, he even attended a Sixers game with Joey Merlino. This shows the respect Joey commanded across different communities, beyond just business. Now, perhaps the most important part of the story is that both Joey Merlino and Tracy Mason are free men today. Both served their jail time. Neither snitched, and both stuck to the code. Loyalty, respect, and integrity were at the core of their actions. And that's why their story stands out in a world where betrayal is common. Now, when you talk about Philadelphia's underworld history, very few names carry the kind of weight Tracy Mason does. Not because he was the loudest or the most violent, but because his ability to survive, adapt, and remain sharp through era after era of shifting power. See, Tracy Mason's story is very unique because he moved between two worlds, the Italian Mafia and the African American street organizations. In Philadelphia, those worlds often clashed, but they also overlapped. And Tracy Mason was right there, watching each reign rise and fall. See, in the late 1960s, early 70s, the Italian mob was under the leadership of Angelo Bruno, a boss who preferred diplomacy over bloodshed. This was a time when organized crime in Philadelphia ran smoothly, with Bruno keeping a lid on the chaos. Mason saw how Bruno's calm control set the tone for the city's underworld, but also how that created opportunities for others who wanted more power. On the other side of town, Sam Christian was late in the Black Mafia. Christian's crew brought a new level of organization and discipline to the streets, running numbers, drugs, and extortion with a military-style structure. For Mason, this was the beginning of witnessing how the African-American underworld in Philly could rival the Italians in both power and influence. But when Bruno was assassinated in the 80s, everything changed. The calm era ended, and Nicky Scarfo, he stepped into power. Scarfo was the opposite of Bruno. He was violent, paranoid, and reckless. Under his rule, blood ran in the streets, and even his closest allies weren't safe. Tracy Mason, who had already survived the shifting tides of the Black Mafia, now watched the Italians tear themselves apart under Scarfo's heavy hand. At the same time, figures like Bo Bangs began to make their mark on the black side of the city. Bangs represented another wave of leadership, someone who understood the streets and the business side of the game. See, Mason, he maneuvered carefully, maintaining his position without falling victim to the cutthroat politics that claimed so many others. Now, by the mid-1980s, a new generation rose with Aaron Jones, with the Junior Black Mafia, or Just Blowing Money, better known as JBM. They were young, ambitious, and ruthless, a crew determined to dominate Philadelphia's drug trade. Tracy Mason had already seen the Italians rise and fall. He'd seen Sam Christian empire crack, seen Scarfo's bloodshed, and seen Bane's influence. And yet, when the JBM stepped onto the stage, Mason was still standing, still sharp, still maneuvering. See, that's why Tracy Mason matters when you talk about Philadelphia history. He wasn't just a bystander. He was a survivor, a man who witnessed the reign of Angelo Bruno, the rise of Sam Christian, the violence of Nicky Scarfo, the influence of Bo Bangs, and the emergence of Aaron Jones and the JBM. In a city where power shifted constantly and lives were lost overnight, Tracy Mason's ability to navigate different cultures, different leaders, and different eras is what made him legendary. He saw men come and go, empires rise and crumble, and through it all, he remained sharp, resilient, and unforgettable. See, I like to call this the untold truth of Philly streets. Far from rumors, exaggerated stories, or Hollywood depictions, two men from South Philly, from different worlds, connected through business, respect, and code. Both survived, both came home free, and both left a legacy that can't be questioned. Don't forget to get the likes up, hit the comments, don't be a stranger, get involved. Don't forget to go to members22.com to cop the fragrance. Hit the Patreon for exclusive videos, Y'all take it easy out there. Subscribe if you're new. I'm out.